Hello everyone and welcome to another video, and just ignore the dead Mog in the background. Obviously there was a little bit of trauma yesterday, but today I'm here to talk about limited time banners on global, and specifically something that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are still angry about, so I'm going to try and be very careful about what I say. I definitely don't want people to think that I'm on the other side, but specifically I want to talk about what I think was a big mistake. And if some of you wonder why I keep calling Gumi Gummy, really the way I remember Gummy is that they are scummy. And I don't think there would be too many players that would argue with me on this one. Particularly, I think that a lot of global players are super frustrated about the Valkyrie profile banner, but and I know I've done enough videos on it already, but I thought of actually something a little bit potentially long-term to talk about with that, and I just want to talk about basically the big mistake. But I think we need a little music to get some, hype going. So really, Gummy's made basically kind of a big mistake with the Valkyrie profile banner. And the Valkyrie profile banner that is coming to global is not going to be the same as, well, not going to be the exact same as the JP side. There are a few changes, and not necessarily for the better. One of the big changes that will be happening to it is basically that there is not going to be a guaranteed on banner rainbow. So if a rainbow drops, it's not guaranteed to be a VP character, which is shitty. There is no two ways about it. When it came to the JP side, this was something that was a feature, and a pretty damn good feature too. Let's be totally honest. There's nothing quite so nice knowing it's going for a limited time unit and knowing that it is going to be at least one of those three characters. Now, that being said, there is a addition to that, and that is the 25k version of the step up. And now, while I don't think this makes up for it, it is kind of interesting to have another way to get a guaranteed copy of one of the three. And don't get me wrong, triple banners aren't necessarily the greatest. When you have a 33% chance, hey, I mean, I would even argue that the 25k step-ups aren't that good on a 50% chance, especially if you're looking for that one character. You know, CG Lightning is coming to the JP side soon, and she's going to be on a step-up banner with Hope. And obviously, everybody wants Lightning, except maybe for a few people who want Hope more, but, you know, majority rules here. Let's be totally honest, people want a specific character. Some people are going to be shooting for Lenneth. Some people are going to be shooting for Freya. Some people are going to be shooting for Arngrim for obvious reasons. So again, I just want to kind of go over these three units and talk about how big of a deal I feel that this is. Maybe some people were really hoping that this was going to be their White Knight banner. Really, maybe just complain a lot about this, and hopefully when Xenogears rolls around, this won't happen. Hopefully we will see on-banner rainbows for the global side for the Xenogears banner, and yes, while nothing has been confirmed yet, seeing the VP banner has kind of should have renewed a little bit of faith that, you know, collaborations will continue to happen on the GL side that happened on the JP side. Except for Romancing Saga, or Imperial Saga, or whatever that saga is. Basically, you guys don't need that one. It's totally cool. Yes, there are some fans of it, but just come play the JP side. You can get those units right now if you want. Anyway, let's talk about it, because Freya, or not Freya, Lenneth, first of all, let me basically kind of give just a overview again. Lenneth is a cool character that, really the nice thing about Lenneth is that she has basically an item upgrade. Other than that, her kit is kind of bad because, well, she is limited to using her TMR for a long time until the Super TMR rule comes into effect, and even then, you need the Super TMR for it. So, Lenneth in terms of damage is definitely nice, but unless you're a super fan unit or super fan of her, it's probably pretty safe passing on her. Freya, I just think, again, is the strongest of all the units on the banner by far. You do need Equip Rod for her, and you can get that from the the Mama Chocobo, the Fat Chocobo, I can't remember, but one of the Star Quartz shops. You can get it very, very easily for her, and then equip it so she can equip a rod, and then she will be very, very powerful. She has an incredibly high base magic stat, and into the future, she can continue to push a lot of magic. Now, does she compare versus Ellie? No, but she does have both a valuable TMR, I would say, and even a valuable super TMR. So all of that is really good here. And so recommending Freya is pretty easy. I think she is just the best on the banner overall. And as for Sir not appearing in this film, Arngrim is 100% all about the super TMR. His accessory is pretty good. The Star Guard, 40 attack, 30% light resistance, 10% physical evasion with a 40% chance to counter with a 7-hit Divine Ruination chaining frames for a counter. But really, the big thing is his true dual-hand greatsword super TMR, Bahamut's Tear, 165 attack, Thunder Element with a 1.3 times limit burst damage up, and a 1 to 1.6 times variance. Really, that's all, basically the main details of that. So taking a look at both of these step-ups, which one I think are pretty good to go on? Well, if there's a specific character that you only want, then... Because I do want to talk about strategies, because there isn't much that global players can do at this point. You know, it's essentially been decided how the units will be, and I just want to make this just a little bit bigger. Sure, I'm not the first guy to say that. Anyway, when it comes to the step-up banners, there is a potential way that you guys on global can still get out of this relatively easy without spending potentially too much resources and potentially avoiding the off-banner rainbows. First of all, the 25k step up and spending 5k lap ups in general or 5k pulls in general will probably be the exact same as the global Halloween banners with a lot of off-banner rainbows, because the on-banner rainbow rate is just really not as high as the off-banner rate. So the 25k step up, I would say, while it's pretty good value getting 2 rainbows over, 25k lapis, pretty good. I said pretty good. I generally feel that it will be worse for you than doing the 11k step-ups. The 11k step-ups are a little bit cheaper, so you're not committing as much resources. And more importantly, they are for specific characters. There's one for Lenneth, there's one for Freya, there's one for Arngrim. And doing each of the 11k step-ups is both easier on the bank for people who are still trying to save, but are trying for a specific unit because the rate ups are higher for that specific character. I did all 3 of the 11k step-ups that were available on the JP side. And while I would never say that you are guaranteed anything, it's not how this game works. Not even close. For me, it helped me get 3 Lenneths and 2 Freyas and 0 Arngrims. Again, kind of the sliding scale of success. But for global players who are kind of wondering about strategy for the long term, well, I do have some slight hope. I'm not going to give you a 100% hope, because 100% hope is probably coming on the Lightning banner. There you go. I've worked in a Final Fantasy XIII JP side joke on this one. Because the Trust Coin Shop does exist and does have the potential to go to global. Obviously, some people were very angry about one of my videos where I suggested that it may not come to global. Really, I guess I should have rephrased that, potentially, if I did say that. I think that it won't come the exact same way to global because of TMR farming, but really, it could come the exact same. Here's my offered strategy to people who are pulling for Freya, Lenneth, and to a lesser extent, Arngrim. I'm going to actually give a separate strategy to people for Arngrim. Let's take Lenneth and Freya. Technically, you only need one of these units, and only one copy. If you look long term, if the Trust Mastery Shop does show up, and if it doesn't ever show up, I assume that Global will get some kind of version of this to get these prisms. These prisms are for specific characters. You can get ones for Like, this is an example of one for Randy, although there are currently on the JP shop ones for Freya as well as Lenneth and Arngrim. These act as awakening material for those specific units. So, say you only get one Freya, say you only get one Lenneth. You have the potential, there is another way to get them to 7 stars in the future, even if you don't get multiple copies of it. So again, given that the 11k step-ups, you know, there's a fairly decent chance of at least getting one copy of a unit. There is hope for people who do want these units but are really pissed off about the you know, the off-banner thing, because the 11k step-ups are a much higher percent chance that the rainbow dropping is that unit. And let's talk about Arngrim for a second. Obviously a unit that is very, very dicey to recommend. Freya, I feel like Freya and Lenneth fans are just going to eat him up. Arngrim, I don't feel quite has as much fans, and most people are going for that super TMR. Again, here is a strategy for people who don't want to spend that much and potentially are okay just getting one and waiting for a long time. If you get one copy of Arngrim, you could eventually, potentially, that's not a word, get what is needed to awaken him, basically his prism. Then you awaken him to a 7-star. Okay, well that leaves me with a 7-star Arngrim, and you said that Arngrim's kit wasn't that exciting. Yeah, it really isn't to me, and you can say that by the fact that nobody uses them on the JP side, and nobody really... Anyway, focus. How does this get me the Super TMR? Well, as it turns out, on the JP side, for our 3rd anniversary, we got a guaranteed Super TMR, a 100% Super TMR Moogle. If you want to see it, it's nice and shiny. I might as well show it off a little bit. Whee! Down we go. There it is. That is what a Super Trust Moogle for 100% looks like. Now, for the most part, parity has kind of happened with a lot of rewards on the anniversary. If you look, Global got the same kind of thing that we got on our 2nd anniversary. So I would assume that there's a pretty good chance that you guys on Global will get this. And yes, throw your comments at me. Well, Gummy will find a way to screw it up. Whatever. Don't straw man argument me. Don't put that up there that it's just like, well, they're going to screw it up. Well, there's a good chance, there's an equal chance that they just kind of put the exact same up. Either way, Super Trust Moogles will eventually be a thing in the game. So for Freya or Lenneth or Arngrim, if you want their Super TMR, there is a strategy to just get one, then get their prism, then awaken them to a 7-star form, and then long distance into the future, when Super TMR Moogles come, that's a good way to get their Super TMR. But here's a question I want to answer, and that is about really Arngrim Super TMR. Bahamut's tier. Is it worth it in the future? Well, 165 attack is still pretty damn decent on True Dual Hand Sword. Obviously 180 attack is bigger, but the lightning element and the limit burst damage with the variants makes a big deal. Specifically the limit burst damage and the thunder element. Now on the JP side, we know that there are going to be CG protagonists into the future, and while True Dual Wield is going to be probably the new meta going forward on the JP side, with CG Squall and CG Cloud, both great sword users that have, you know, are kind of known for their limit burst, this could still be very, very good into the future. I'm not going to say it's 100% guaranteed, but I think that Arngrim's Super TMR is still the best Super TMR in the game, and potentially worth maybe investing still in the long term. I'm not crystal balling this one so much because I would just say offer the potential advice of how good this could be in the future. Either way, for all of you global people, I'm sorry to hear that it's not quite what you guys were hoping for. And if you are going to pull, I hope that all the luck is with you. Well, most of the luck, because honestly, I'm keeping some of the luck for CG Lightning. We all got the stuff we're aiming for. So yes, I hope this finds all of you well, and I will see you all for the next video. It'll be about something on the JP side, because we've been talking a lot about global lately. and we gotta talk a little more JP. See you then.